Fahad, in the Q&A, I see there is a question already from Mohammed Bilal. Is that a question from somebody in the audience?
Yes, so Adil, we've already made it clear that we are going to address these questions at the end of the webinar,
Yeah.
and we have made it clear that the webinar is going to be live at 4:30 p.m.
Okay,
Uh,
great.
Pakistan time and 3:30 p.m. UAE time. So we'll be addressing those at the end.
Perfect. And I will only ask the questions that you will actually post to me in my chat. All right?
Exactly, exactly.
Three questions
Yeah.
So
coming.
So we
we
will
will be
select it.
scrubbing all those questions and send it your way.
Chat.
Perfect. So I'll just only refer to the questions that I will see in the webinar chat. All right?
Chat में कहाँ पे आ रहा है?
क्योंकि आपके लिए नहीं है.
Just okay.
So by the way, just for a flavor, the question was, what is OEE and why it is important? This is coming from an attendee. What is OEE and why it is important? Right? And how is OEE calculated? That's kind of very fundamental question though.
Yeah.
What is a good OEE score typically considered greater than 85% for world class? So industry dependent. So the question, well, the fundamental question is that what is a good OEE score? Okay.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
debatable.
yeah, that's for somebody from the plant and the manufacturing side. So yeah,
Adil,
it really depends.
Adil,
Yes,
as I told you, I'm okay if you can collect the questions
right.
unanswered and
Right.
you shoot to me, and I will
Okay.
reply in few days.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Just 2 more minutes and then we'll
We'll go
start.
live.
Yeah, we'll go live. We are live actually.
We will be
Um,
live at 4:30.
Officially live.
But on
We
link.
are live now. Attendees have already started joining. So we'll
Right.
just start exactly at 4:30.
they can't view us right now, right?
Yes, they can. They can now.
They can now. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Feel it's 4:30 now.
I'm just waiting for the cue from Fahad.
Yeah, it's good to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of our very exciting webinar series hosted by the Octopus Digital. We're thrilled to have you all here, whether you're joining on Zoom or watching live on the Octopus Digital LinkedIn. Today's episode focuses on optimizing machine availability, performance, and quality to enhance OEE in your manufacturing processes, with a real-world insight from two of our very valued client speakers from the Emirates Macaroni Factory, situated in the heart of UAE, Dubai, and Topalti Private Limited, located in Karachi, the economy capital of Pakistan. So before we dive in, I encourage you those on Zoom to introduce yourselves in the chat and tell us your name, your industry, and feel free to drop any questions as we move through the conversation. These questions, however, will be answered at the end. To our LinkedIn live audience, you're also invited to share your thoughts, questions, comments as well. We're watching there too. So now I am honored to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Tanveer Karawat, CEO of Octopus Digital, a thought leader who will set the stage by sharing his thoughts on why digital transformation matters and how Octopus Digital's approach is helping manufacturers unlock the full potential of OEE in their operations. So welcome, Tanveer.
Thank you for the warm introduction, Adil. Hello, everyone. My name is Tanveer Karamat, and it's truly a pleasure to welcome you all today. Let me start by asking a question, or ourselves a question. Why is digital transformation is no longer a choice, but an imperative? And I would like to make this understand to ourselves by narrating some stories of the companies of their times who faced with this challenge or threat of digital transformation. The first company that comes to mind, and they were all big companies, some are still very much thriving, but the first company that comes to mind is Kodak. Kodak, in fact, was the first company who invented digital camera. But they clung to their legacy business of selling films. The management was very feverish, I would say. They feared that if they pivot to digital, their sales will become cannibalized. So they did pivot, but they took some time. And by then, the companies like Sony and smartphones and Canons had taken over. And eventually, they had to file for the bankruptcy in 2012. Now, what is the lesson here? Now, protecting your legacy business at the cost of innovation can turn out or prove to be very costly. Next up is Nokia. Nokia also was a big company, very popular name in the mobile business, but they did not understand the wind of change that was brought about by digital. So they could not understand the importance of software ecosystem, such as iOS, Android, App Store, and all that stuff. They were selling hardware. What happened? The companies like the digital companies, the smartphones started eating up their market, and finally they had to sell their business to Microsoft in 2014. The lesson here is that hardware alone or a product itself in a digital environment was not enough. They needed to change their strategy, but they did not. And so they had to lose out in a big way to smartphones. I would like to give two examples from FMCG companies that they would resonate very well with our audience and with our speaker as well. One is a Procter & Gamble. They were also slow in adopting direct-to-consumer e-commerce model. And they were challenged by some nimble digital companies who developed this direct-to-consumer e-commerce model, and they were eating their revenues very seriously. So they started losing their market share in the categories of household products and the grooming business because they could not catch up with those companies. They did eventually adopt certain data-driven marketing, but again, they were very late. So their lesson is that sometimes they were too focused on mass retail strategy. They could not understand that digital-first challenges can erode their share very quickly. Similarly, Unilever's story is no different. They were also challenged by some nimble digitally native brands of the likes of Harry and Honest Company that built DTC relationship. Unilever forced to buy out that company, the Dollar Shave Club, in 2014 for $1 billion. Instead of leading that digital initiative organically, they had to pay a heavy price to catch up. So the lesson for Unilever is that slow adoption sometimes costs you a high premium to catch up in that business. Now, if you look at the pattern of all these four companies that I've talked about, so what they missed out was the following three things. Number one, they underestimated the consumer behavior shift enabled by digital. They clung to their legacy business model and businesses instead of building agile, data-driven, and platform-based strategies. And third, they reacted late and often end up paying a high premium to catch up. Now, we all understand that because of the digital technologies, that this space is not going to slow down. And so in case of the manufacturing, it is evolving very rapidly. For companies to remain competitive and relevant, they have to move beyond their traditional processes and embrace digital strategies that enhance the visibility of their operations, drive efficiencies, and deliver real-time insights. At Octopus, whatever we do, whether we are building a data lake for our customers or deploying a cutting-edge products or tools, or offering a bespoke solutions, we are valued by our customers because of the impact that we bring to their operations. And two of our valued customers are joining us today, Emirates Macaroni and Tapal. Today's topic is OEE, the overall equipment effectiveness, which is a critical matrix to measure the performance of your manufacturing equipment. And OEE is not just about monitoring machines or performance alone. It's a whole lot more than that. It is about transforming your complete operations, and it's about reducing your waste, increasing your uptime, and driving long-term sustainable improvements. And today you will hear real-world stories from our esteemed customers, Tapal and Emirates Macaroni, who will share how they tackle their OEE challenges that they achieved. Before I hand over, let me leave you with my 2 cents. Change is one permanent feature in human evolution. Yet it is the most difficult one thing to embrace, naturally, because it disrupts the order, the control, and the convenience, the coziness that we build around the systems, the processes that we've built over time. So we cling to that. And it's very difficult for someone to change that very quickly. But you can't help it. The winds of change are always threatening us. And, some other, if you're too cozy up, then the stories that I've narrated to you are ample examples that it would disrupt you in a very significant way. And what is the role of leadership? The leadership role is to cast the vision and craft the strategies that aligns you with those winds of change in order to avoid being significantly disrupted. Thank you once again for joining us today. And I hope you leave with actionable insights you can take back to your organizations. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Tanvir, for your amazing insights and Truly so, truly so. So it is definitely clear that digital transformation isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's something manufacturers really need to stay ahead. So first up, we have Mr. Roberto Traversa joining us from the Emirates Macaroni Factory, which is a leading food manufacturer from UAE, who has actually transformed its OEE approach towards energy optimization using digital tools and strategies. Well, with that, please welcome our next speaker joining us now to share their success story, Mr. Roberto Traversa.
Thank you, Adil, and thank you, Tavir, for having me. And hello, everyone. So today I'm representing Emirates Macaroni Factory, which is the first and the biggest pasta factory in UAE, established in 1979. And as per today, we hold more than 40% of market share in our country. And EMF has been leading the food manufacturing sector for very, very long nowadays. So to jump into the topic of this webinar, I want to make it clear that our process is strongly automated. Okay, we have the high-end technology, which is coming mainly from Europe, being pasta product, which is mainly made in Italy. So the process is strongly automated from the receiving of the raw material to the finished good. This is an important point to understand the project we did with the Octopus team. The digitalization journey in EMF, mainly related to the OE, started actually around 8 years ago, where we started monitoring the OE manually, and then we moved to a system with the real-time monitoring, which, of course, in the first part of the understanding of the system, you can allocate the biggest loss and put in action all the correction to have an improvement on the performance. And normally, as a standard, we are around 10%. This is what we have experienced a long time ago. But I want to take the words of Tanvir. OE is not just a KPI for monitoring the performance. It's much more. And here is where about a year ago, we met Octopus and we started our collaboration. So what we did, and we actually implemented with the same concept of the real-time monitoring of the OEE. We applied the same concept only also on the energy, and we wanted to use all this data in order to evaluate our process, not only in terms of performance, but also in terms of cost. To give you a clear understanding, I will give you a small quick tour of our system, which is alive. So this is the system that we have implemented with the Octopus team, where you can see that all the machinery have been connected with the Octopus system. Everything has been done directly by them. And we have created this virtual dashboard where we can see the status of our machines. We monitor the OE, which is, of course, the very important parameters. But from the OE, we are able also to monitor the energy and to convert the energy in a cost factor. So the concept we apply this dashboard, this is the main one. This is a dashboard dedicated to the energy consumption. We have two main sources of energy, the electrical energy and the thermal energy. So in this case, you can see that we are able in real time, this is the case of today, we are able to understand how much we are consuming in kilowatt hours. And with the cost factor that we can manage, we know how much we are spending. So this is the dashboard. But that is only to have an understanding of the trend, how we are going. The game is when we start to play with our reports. So in this case, for related to the energy, we have a report which is able to give us through the filters a better understanding of what happened in the past or what is happening now today. This is an amazing tool because it allowed us to go to slice all the happening during the normal production, understand where the biggest loss or the biggest problems or the best performance happen. So this information is very, very important to understand the way the process is managed. Same concept is on the OEE. So here we have, for each machine in place, we have sensors installed by the team, which are able to give us in real time the OEE, the efficiency. And again, we have the report. So in this case, we can slice the report. We can go in different machines, in different items, different shifts at different period, and we can understand in details, also with the log data, what actually happened up to the single minute of the production. All of this is used to generate the KPI and the monitorings that are necessary to improve the process, reduce the cost, and boost the performance of the process. But the amazing part of all this project, all this system, is on the last report, which me and the Octopus team were very proud of it because we were able to develop this report where for each of our main machines, which are our cost center, we are able to identify in a certain period up to the single shift what is the most important parameter, which is the cost for production. So in this case, by merging together all the information that we are constantly collecting in real time, we are able to understand the specific production to a specific batch at which cost has been performed. Okay? This information is crucial because we can understand that same product on the same machine, but in different period or with a different team can perform better or worse. All this information are the base for us to forecast the future and plan in advance the best optimization of our process in order to tackle the highest performance at the lowest cost. All of this has been done as I told you with the team. The installation was very easy. The team take care about all the details. And there is a back office which is working on the softwares. And to make all of this work, we had also this operation center where we can feed the system with all the information that at the moment with the link to the floor. In this way, we can put the planning, the historical, the downtimes, and we can also put the cost factor, which will convert energy into money, that in our case is dirhams. Okay. Actually, this is not the end of the project. Actually, this is only the start because the system is running under a Power BI reporting system, which is connected to our system, our ERP. In parallel, in our ERP, we are developing a planning system, which will be in the future connected to this system and give us a sort of, I hope we will also be able to use some AI tools in order to simulate some case scenario and anticipate potential issue. The cherry on the cake for all of this is that we are also starting another project where we will consolidate all this data and start to working on the sustainability in our organization. Because from all these activities, we can calculate our carbon footprint. So the new KPI, which will be hopefully shortly developed by starting from this system as a base, will be the carbon footprint. So our ambition is also to have a real-time carbon footprint monitoring and try to set some target in order to become one of the, the most environmental friendly company of the region. I hope that I gave you at least some interesting highlights on the system. And please feel free to ask any question on the QA, and we will manage to answer you as much as we can. Thank you again, Octopus team and everyone. I leave the stage to you, Adil. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Roberto, for sharing such splendid insights and your experience overall with, well, the journey, I would say. And well, thanks once again. So moving on from there, in the interest of time, as I mentioned earlier, we've got Mr. Shabir Muhammad on the call today, and I'd like to introduce Mr. Shabir Muhammad to the fore. And Shabir Saab, over to you for your part of the presentation, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Adil. Thank you, Tanveer, for having me over in this webinar. And I'm really pleased to introduce myself first, and I'll give you a little brief intro of my company. Then we'll move forward for showing our OEE experience through Digital Octopus. So my name is Shabir Muhammad. I'm associated with Tapalti for the last over 25 years. So having worked in a different multifunctional environments such as supply chain, procurement, production, engineering, and quality assurance. Having 360 view of Tapal value chain, I'm here to share our experience of how our digitalization journey contributed to our growth. But before that, let me introduce my company, okay, what my company does over here. So Tapalti was established in 1947. It's a family-oriented company, and this is the fourth generation who is taking over. And we have built a strong legacy of 70 plus years, and we are proud to be a Pakistan #1 tea brand and market leader in branded tea company across the country and globally. Right now, we have got almost 60 to 65% market share in Pakistan, and we are exporting to 38 countries of our teas. And right in Pakistan, we have got a 2 manufacturing plant, and along with we have got a third-party distribution network of 450 plus, and we have got around manpower of 2,500 altogether. So now I'll share my slides with you guys. So just wait for a while so I can put up my slides. So can you guys share, see my slides? Okay, thank you, Adil.
Yes, Shabir Saab.
So why OEE? You know, when we started this journey, we had a very difficult time because of our environment is giving us a hindrance of change management, like Tanveer Karamat said earlier. So that was the biggest challenge in our industries. So as Peter Drucker says, you know, what you cannot measure, you cannot manage. So we realized it quite some time, but you know, we had to implement this thing. So previously, if I show you, yeah, just hang on, it's been stuck.
No problem. No problem.
So previously, what we used to do everything, the production reporting manually, a lot of paperwork, a lot of hassle, person dependency, impacting data accuracy, and the authenticity was always been a challenge for us. So we then, you know, the TPM also always give you a discipline, while OEE gave us visibility, and that was badly needed at that point of time. So the intervention to implement digitalization played a pivotal role of establishing data-driven decision. So that's a part of the digitalization. We have now moved from the manual to the digitalization era. So it was a 3-phase as far as our company is concerned. We started the phase 1 to see whether our process line upgradation, I mean the machine capability with having the old machine lot and the new machine lot, they are equally capable to do the digitalization, was ready for the digitalization. And I'm really thankful to our business partner, technology partner, Octopus Digital, to help us in a very detailed way. That it took us a little longer compared to, like Roberto says, they were able to complete it in a very fast pace. But seeing our environment, it was also faster from our point of view. So the second phase was we started installation of different devices and sensors because it was needed to capture the data from the machine to our ERP, and going into the third phase to make a digital layer implementation. And that's the way we created dashboard, turning raw data into an actionable item for monitoring and decision making. And that really helped us a lot. So I'll show you my OE dashboard. This is the dashboard of our machines. So if you see, the EOE is 80%, and the three parameters, the main dashboard, which depicts the pillar of three basic parameters, that is availability, performance, and quality. If you can see, we have established like by machine, by SKU. We have got a one brand, but we have got a different 100 sort of an SKU. So we can get the detailing in that dashboard as well. Going forward, I can show you the performance dashboard, which gives us the observation, what was the planned and what was the actual output, and track different parameters such as speed and cycle time. So now I would like to share a small case study which we did, because I was telling you this was our first step to lay the foundation of AE. Now we have to move forward. Like Roberto has given a very good example of going towards energy mechanism, then sustainability. So that is also our plan in future to move towards that. But I'm just showing you how we progress in our development of OEE. So this is the one of the machine teabag machine case study which we did. And I would like to say that this was one of the most difficult, I would not say difficult, but very high speed, high tech machines having 3,500 plus mechanical parts moving around, working coherence with there. And we observe stoppages, a very less than 3 minutes stoppages on the machines. That's compiled to the OE. If you see, before it was 68%, and that's why the performance went down to 78%. The availability and the quality was not that the big issue. The performance was the bigger issue. Then what we did, this digitalization helped in pinpointing the issue of malfunctioning. And before that, we did not have any digitalization mechanism. It was all guesswork. So then we applied the 5M technique, and we found out that the problem was at the machines to change the few parts, and also the man side. We corrected the autonomous maintenance side, and we improved the skill of the supervisor or the machine operator to remove this bottleneck. And after that, we found that our OE jumped into 75% from 68, and so is our performance. So thank you very much, because it was a brief and short, but we are just starting our journey as it just began. And I thank you, Adil and Tanveer Karamat, for helping us out. And one thing I would like to say, the audience, that choosing the right technology partner is also a very critical and played a pivotal role, because we had a very bad experience initially when we started this journey. So thank you very much.
Pleasure, sir. Thank you very much again for sharing such valuable experience with our audience, and I'm sure that the attendees in the audience would really find this useful and interesting, coming directly from somebody they can relate to, because most of the attendees that we have today are from the FMCG sector, and this was definitely kind of much needed in time. We keep on receiving a lot of questions when we engage with our potential clients and customers. We try to answer them the best, but we've always felt that the best impact is always there when they hear it from the experience from the industry leaders like yourselves. So once again, thank you very much, both of our esteemed speakers, to share your thoughts, insights, and taking us through the journey of transforming their operations. So now with that, I'm going to be moving into the Q&A session. I believe we've already got some questions, and my team is assisting us here. Just a disclaimer, well, just a heads up, in fact, Mr. Roberto Traversa, one of our esteemed speakers today, he has not been feeling well, so it's been really kind of him to make himself available for the session so far, but he requested that he would drop in early. However, your questions are extremely valuable to us. We will be taking note of these questions and also diverting these questions to our esteemed speakers to address them at their leisure. And rest assured that you will get back, we will get back to you with the insights that you especially are looking for. But yes, yet again, we will take leverage of having Mr. Shabir Muhammad on the call today, as well as Mr. Tariq Ahmed. A few questions, if I were able to shortlist. So there's one question that I would like to share with you, both gentlemen. Well, how do you measure OEE in a factory with limited automation? This is coming from one of the attendees. With limited automation, interesting. Okay, so I think Shabir Sab, that really refers to something that you referred earlier on in your first phase of the implementation. You mentioned you really had to look into where there is a lack of automation, and that's where. So would you just like to share some insights on what was your approach towards filling in those gaps and how we were able to support you or help you out?
Thank you, Adil, for the question. Recently I've just seen a question pop up as well about this thing. So, the adopting digital tool for OE, the challenge was the biggest challenge. I've earlier said the change management was the biggest challenge. Building trust in all these stakeholders is very, very important. If everyone is aligned with the course of job, become very easy. Selecting the right technology is also of pivotal importance. That's what I've also already mentioned it. Because in our experience, we struggle for good number of months, I would say, with data fetching, data integrity issues, and a lot more. However, then definitely our technology partner, I was again thank you for ODL, assisted us in making that seamless through their OmniConnect technology, and that really helped. Why I'm emphasizing because of the right partner, because technology is a buzzword in nowadays. Everybody is working on digitalization and everything. But if once you choose the wrong thing, so garbage in, garbage out sort of a situation occurs. And we had experience in our sort of environment. So that is very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Having been engaged with you for more than a decade or so, and especially on the OEE for the last 5 years, your experience, we've been with you through the journey of your selecting the right partners you mentioned. So thank you once again. So another question I find valuable to share on this forum in the interest of time. Some of the key metrics to focus on when improving machine availability. I believe Shabir Saab has already pointed out on that. Tanveer Saab, DK, would you like to share some insights from your side in terms of some of the key metrics?
Can you come again with the question, please?
Yes. So the question says that what are some of the key metrics to focus on when improving machine availability, which is about improving the machine availability, something that we regularly help through OmniConnect.
Of course, in order to ensure that your machines are available, you need to be cognizant of the fact that what is impacting the availability. So you need to have the data to be able to break down the different kind of stoppages that because you have one available time, your production time, and then some planned stoppages are there, but then there are unplanned stoppages that are causing and affecting your uptime, your available time. So that eats on this. The more breakdowns that you have, and you do not know what those breakdowns, what are the reasons of those breakdowns. Only through analytics you're able to pinpoint those breakdowns and then transform your operations to fix them in real time so that your availability can be improved and hence your production. It's directly related to that. If you have an available time, it is eaten up by such stoppages, by such breakdowns, and you have no idea how to fix them. You're creating a blind spot. And with these kind of information in real time, I would stress again, like Shabir Saab said, that if you cannot measure, you cannot monitor, control, neither you can manage. So it is so important that you should have the data integrity ensured, and this can only be ensured if you remove human touch points in gathering data, manipulating that data, and giving you those numbers. So that's the reason why we emphasize that you should create a data lake. That means you're gathering data in real time, dropping it and harmonizing it, because you have not only OT data, you have IT data also. And the amalgamation of various data sources through which you're able to, you know, ensure your availability, production, and quality. So this is very important aspect of ensuring that you should know what's causing the availability to you, and only through data analytics you will be able to achieve that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, TK, for elaborating on this very important question. Just in the interest of time, I'm just going to shoot it a little faster because, well, we've had like, I don't know how many questions. I'm seeing 79 as a count, but let me just go a little rapid on this.
I'll make sure that we will answer all those questions through
exactly.
emails. We'll circulate that.
Absolutely. This next question, I was reading it before I actually moved in to ask this. I think this will be for you, Mr. B. I think you can share your best knowledge on this. Well, some of the challenges companies face when adopting digital tools for OEE performance. I think you touched a bit on this topic earlier on while you were presenting your case study. So maybe if you could answer this question in a more precise manner, some of the key challenges, like top 3 challenges when you face when adopting a digital tool for OE improvement.
Adil, you're asking me?
Yeah, Sabir Saab, that's for you.
Change management. Okay, I've just answered this question about this change management and everything.
Absolutely.
You please repeat it again, or?
I think exactly you answered this question pretty clearly. Well, the challenges the companies usually face when adopting digital tools for OE implementation. That's pretty much fundamentally covered by you in your session that you were conducting a little while ago. But just a quick recap on this question. I think if the audience will go in, this answer will they will get the answer on this.
The biggest change is the change management. That's I've explained it in a very
elaborate way.
Because people don't tend to use to change the habit they've been developed over the years in our kind of industries, and that was this challenge. And the only thing you can do is to build trust. Building trust in all stakeholders is very, very critical and important. And once everybody is aligned, the things will start getting into their own position. And definitely selecting the right technology, which I will be keep repeating it. That was also of our experience to go for a right technology and the alignment with the old stakeholder along with the change management mindset. So one thing I was just noticing, somebody asked me, how do you capture the quality in tea industry? I'm just picking that up. So I was just giving the reply on that part as well. The part of the tea quality is separately managed by the tea tasting and tea development, tea department. As far as the OE is concerned, we monitor the pack quality. Pack quality means when in our company, when we started implementing this OEE, we had a challenge. Okay, the availability and the performance is coming through the PLC, the monitoring, the sensors, but the quality was the issue. How would we measure? Then along with our digital partners, we come up to a solution. We have put up a sensor on every machines where the defective pack has been produced and that has been pushed out to a bin. And the end of the shift, the bins has been counted, and we say the quality. If we produce 1,000 packs, then 3 packs have been defected. Defected means tone, pack, the marking is not correct, like anything goes wrong with the packet, formation, size, whatever. So that's the way we monitor the packaging quality at that part. But the tea quality, definitely that is being separately monitored.
Fantastic, fantastic.
So,
If I may,
our main objective is to remove the human interaction of the data. So the authenticity of the data cannot be challenged.
Right.
I was in this organization for so many years, and that's why I'm trying to make myself young and young every day, trying to compete with Gen Z nowadays and learn from them a lot, learn them from a lot. And
Amazing, amazing.
so my challenge was, so how to capture all these things into these things, and digitalization really helped us a lot. So if now
Amazing.
I talk about the digitalization, to Gen Z is readily and easily understand the process as well.
Amazing,
Shabir sir,
amazing.
you have very rightly pointed out some of the challenges in adoption of digital or embracing digital. Change management is fundamental, actually. And why? And like I've also said that change is a permanent feature in human evolution. Yet we are too worse to change because we cozy up with the systems that we develop. We start loving it. We don't want to change. Now this is a disruption story. So the one fundamental thing in adoption of digital is how you structure that adoption within your organization is fundamental. Okay, change. Of course, you not only there are two ladders of this. One is the technology ladder, the implementation ladder. The other is the change management ladder that you run within your organization. To, for example, you need to upskill your people or reskill your people so that they are able to. They should not see it as a challenge to them, because you've been running your operations for many years, and people know how to produce tea for sure, but you're telling them to do it in a different way now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That apprehension has to be addressed. So of course it doesn't come without an executive sponsorship. That means leadership has to drive it. It's not from bottom to up, it's top to bottom kind of an approach. Yet the cross-functional teams, and it should be seen as a company initiative, not just any individual initiative, where people think, oh, this is his baby, not mine, so why should I be worried about? So that's, and then the adoption as a continuous evaluation should go hand in hand with what you have been able to deliver. So the management should remain interested in what's happening, because then it fizzles out. And the last thing I would mention is the partner should be in the trenches with the customer. Yes. The adoption will never happen. It is not a project. It is a journey. And hence, I believe that, and this is a study that, big technology companies have come out with the crux that without being in the trenches, the adoption of digital projects are very difficult. And a lot of companies have failed actually in this process. So this is the mantra that we have, that we have to make customers succeed so that we succeed in your success. Otherwise, it's not going to fly.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much, TK, once again. And a question posing your name particularly in this one. So, considering the fast pace of technological advancements, how reliable and future ready do you see Octopus Digital is in supporting long-term digitization initiatives? Something that we always talk about a lot. So, your thoughts, please.
Lovely question. I think lovely question.
Yeah,
and that's where the technology is becoming fragile and it's fast-paced. Things are changing. New technologies is coming along, and this is what we conceived, that how should we build a solution for our customers that we've been serving in the automation space digitally. So we evaluated a lot of technologies. So he says, we will go native to the platform. That means, for example, our technology is built on Azure. So we don't have to worry about the development of on that count. The way Azure develops its technology, and it's got the muscle, the name, the strength to continue evolving, we can harness those technologies and bring to the fore for our customers to take benefit. That's the beauty of our solution. So it is not our proprietary. It is very open, structured way of doing things. So hence we are agnostic to anything. So everything that is available technologically on the platforms. I mean, these are the big names, the AWS and Microsoft. These are big names. So we are leveraging the technologies to bring the best available to our customers. Like generative AI is now, we're pushing out a lot of generative AI products using the LLM models, which are not built by us. They're already there, but we are kind of packaging in such a manner, because if you want to use a generative AI, you have to divulge your secret data to ChatGPT or Copilot, which becomes data for public consumption. What we are doing is we want to protect your data. It doesn't become public, yet you enjoy the ad hoc querying on your data. So this technology will continue as it evolves, would be made available to you. We're not limited because of that.
Fantastic, CK. Thank you very much for reflecting back on our concept of the Omni Chat, which really is customers are finding that really useful, where they can really query in a real life language the insights that they're looking for, rather than going into complex dashboards or reports as maybe for some of the users. Fantastic. So another question which I find really pertinent, to the audience. This one is to the audience. There's so many questions. I'm trying my best to pick up some of the most relevant ones. A lot of questions have been, I believe, slightly or particularly answered in the presentations that you've seen so far. But this one is definitely unique. So this is Alicia Reyes asking, what is the average lead time for change management and adoption of a production setup with a mix of legacy and latest technology machinery, which has a mix of skilled and unskilled workers in workflows? Now, this is a very challenging question for me to place to Shabis, up to you or Tanvi, because it's got a mix of something that you both can contribute to. So Shabis, I'll just recap it for you. So what is the average lead time for change management? I mean, somebody's trying to understand that, you took a journey, but what is the average lead time, in your opinion, for the change management and adoption cycle of a setup, which is mix of legacy and the latest technology machinery? Exactly your situation, sir. So average lead time for change management. Tricky, right?
It is very tricky because, I think from my experience, it depends on the organization to organization, the kind of organization we are in. We are mostly doing the blending sort of a part and the packaging. The packaging is the biggest. So what we did for the change management, as I've earlier said, we, like Tanvir also mentioned it, we made a lot of cross-functional team, and we make sure that every team has got a younger people and the experienced lot. So mixture of both. And we were not giving any individual the credit. It goes to a team or the multifunctional team altogether. We started some incentives for them, and we call it extra mile award sort of a thing. So we keep on doing this according to the implementation phase. And I personally believe that OE does not need a digitalization as initially, but lack of automation is not a lack of processes. It's a approach. It's a adoption of appropriate technology. Manual thing can go along if it is related to a reasonable size, but when it grows up, the business grew, then the scale increased. So then you have to upgrade yourself, and the only way is to digitalization. It gives you a very quick result once it has been implemented, and then you can, I would say, ripe the fruits at any time you're given. And then you build on these things. Like we are very eagerly awaiting of our energy thing to be integrated with our this OE as a next step. Then we'll go definitely for the sustainable thing as a part of our plan.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. TK, change management and
Right.
technology adoption,
The
something
lead time
from
for
your
change management, I think, as Shri Sab said, that it's different for different companies. But one thing is very, very important here is that the vision that the leadership gives to the organization should be very clear. That we mean business. This is the direction that we want to go, and everybody has to align with that direction, right? That's a statement that you want to shoot out to everyone, that this is what we want to embrace. Those who align themselves would be the ones who will be part of a journey. Those who do not want to align themselves can make their own judgment call, right? After that, of course, there's a lot of effort needed to make sure that the stakeholders start seeing it as not being something imposed upon them. It is but necessary for their own benefit. They can leverage this to improve their own performances. They can learn new things, new ways of doing things, and this will help them rather than kind of hurt them. So I think, and this is a process. And then the third thing is that you've got to make sure that whenever you review something, you use the same tools that you've deployed as the measure of evaluation, rather than, for example, I give you an example. When we implemented CRM for our sales, and I started this, I'm a bit digressing, but it's important from an adoption point of view, that in 2004, 2005, so I introduced, when I joined Awencion, so I was trying to introduce this CRM because I had come from Honeywell, so I was used to that kind of visibility. It took me a great effort to convince people that this is something very useful. And but it so happened that we could able to do that, but there was a lot of issues. The internet was not available. The internet is slow. There were a lot of excuses. Okay, but then came the Microsoft CRM that we implemented. It took us almost 1 year to fully deploy that. And the commitment was there that we would not look at any information but through that CRM. So this becomes part of their workflow. If it doesn't become part of anybody's workflow, it's a dashboard. I will use it, I will not use it. I will see it, I will not see it. But if it becomes your workflow, part of your workflow, only then it sticks. So people should be encouraged, should feel that this is good for them, and they see that this is something of value rather than it's going to hurt them.
Thank you. Perfect, TK. Thank you. Thank you very much for pitching in. So my apologies to both of you, because these questions are coming from different perspectives. The audience is asking questions which I'm not effectively able to streamline as per the subject, but this is a very unique one. So this is coming from Mr. Srifan, one of our attendees, and the question is that how have you uncovered some bottlenecks on the production lines that you previously were not aware of by now, and how much time did it take to define what is a downtime and what is a not? Shabir sir. So again, crux is that have you uncovered some major bottlenecks on the production lines which you were not previously aware of? I think you touched on this topic during your presentation as well. And how much time did it take for you to define it? That yes, it is truly a downtime, or let's exclude it from the downtime consideration.
Okay, Adil, I can give you a little example. In
Yes, sir.
our company, a lot of issues being verified and resolved in 2 to 3 days sometime. But this visibility of a data, visibility of specifically area of availability, of performance, of quality, it took us now 2 to 3 hours to resolve that issue, including it reduces our downtime and it helped us in the wastage elimination. I've told you we've started this packaging material wastage monitoring system, and we were around 2 to 2.5% of our packaging wastages. Now we are just recently we have closed down to 1.1%, and that saved us a lot because we are finding it very quickly because of data we have. So that's the main game.
Fantastic, fantastic. Another very pertinent question. I mean, the question that we hear a lot from our potential clients. Now, this is Mr. Jamaluddin. I'm not sure exactly his organization name. He's not mentioned, but Mr. Jamaluddin is asking that how can we convince top management to digitize the equipment when you're carrying old technology and it needs big investment to upgrade? Uh,
I think they're very
Shabish,
valid questions, and we have gone through all these things.
Yeah.
I think
Shabish sir,
you can add, but yeah, I can share my
yes.
experience as well because we
So how did you approve the big budget when you
yeah,
had the technology gap? Yes,
we started
taking
doing
you
this,
back in the days.
and we see the cost was too high. But
Hmm.
one of the best thing, I don't know whether Adil it has to be said or not, but
No,
our
you
partner
please.
helped us very well because spending a capex of a bunch, matlab, hell of a capex one time and getting it approved through management, it was a difficult task. So what we did, we spread out in a 4 or 5 years plan. So the cost will go down and the benefit make it a financial feasibility to say the payback will come through reduced downtime and reduced wastages. And that
Right,
proves our worth of implementing those technologies into our machines. So that's the way you prove it to your management.
absolutely.
It's a long-term solution, but it gives you result at the end of the day. And
Absolutely.
when the data is hidden or manipulated, it will cost you a lot in the company. That is called hidden losses. And
Right.
now somebody at that point of time don't realize all these things. When it comes to on the table, then you realize you should have invested much more before what you have gone across. So I think you one has to decide sooner or better, sooner the better.
One of the
The-
questions that really follows up.
I would
Yes,
add,
TK. Yes,
you know, the organization has to realize if the pain of staying the same is more than the pain of change. If
absolutely.
they feel that staying the same would cost them more, it is more painful than the change, then you must change, right? And like I mean, Tapal has gone through that journey itself, and you've very well explained. Um, our model is not capex model. So that is what we thought that we want to. People might like to invest in the hardware and pay millions of dollars, but they probably are very skeptical of paying that much for the data, for the dashboards, for all of that. So we said probably the best way to go with this is that make it a subscription model, and it also shows our commitment that we are not here to deliver a project and run away. You can pull the plug anytime if you don't see the value. So we are in the business of creating value for our customers, not asking them to invest heavily and start the journey. You start small, have a feel, and then grow big. That's how probably is I can address this legacy thing question. Start small.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again, TK. But just then, as an example, building up on what Shabisa was mentioning, when it came to Tapal, Shabisa, back in 2021, perhaps, when we started sort of evaluating all the nitty-gritties with you. So one of the greatest differentiating element TK we saw with Tapal was that they took it on as a full-fledged scope. They did not decide to go on one line or a machine, do a
Yes.
POC, etc. Because the greatest challenge that they were foreseeing was of the change management. So it had to be really announced across the board that this is going to be the new normal. That's how, particularly, we will measure our performance metrics through a real time system based on this technological shift. And the shift on the mindset was then really forced behind, and then through the leadership of Mr. Sabir and his team. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we did it in both the plant. We actually engaged
Yeah.
OE around 80 machines, 40 in Karachi and 50 in Lahore, and at the same time. So that really helped us out. Because when you start a smaller thing, then you get into a vicious cycle for all the time. So you just
Absolutely.
try it out and get the results. Better to go the whole path.
Absolutely. And touching upon what TK you mentioned about the CRM, back in the day, we decided one odd day you just sent out an email and told that the only report that we are going to be reviewing is going to be the one that comes through the CRM and no manual reporting. So, therefore, that really put everybody behind the track, and the initiative hence becomes successful. There are always humps and full stops and commas and dashes. But then again, with the
Life,
force behind the commitment, we cover them up. Yes,
life is not straight line.
absolutely,
It's up and down, up and down, up and down.
absolutely,
How
absolutely.
up it goes, how low it comes down. I mean, we have to manage between the humps.
Perfect. So this addresses one of the questions coming from Mr. Imran Khan. Again, the organization name is not mentioned, which is where they're asking that this question was to Roberto, who's not on the call right now, but the question was that did you roll out in phases, beginning with a single line? Did you implement it across the complete factory in one go? Well, I'll just take that and answer this that yes, since I was leading this project with Mr. Roberto, so yes, it was decided that we are going to go with the full scale. So, Mr. Roberto, on the packaging, on the making, on the planning, so it was one initiative, was a transformation announced within the organization. So yes, it was done completely in one go. Imran has quite a few questions out here, which we will. I'm sure my marketing team is going to help me address each of these separately in the interest of time. I'm trying to take more questions from most of the audiences that we have.
I've seen Imran's questions, and
Oh, you have.
I would invite Imran to just cross the street and come to our company. Is there
Oh,
across our road so that we can show
fantastic.
them the real fruits of the OEE. Our team
That's
is ready to show
fantastic.
them.
Fantastic. You've been really kind, Shabir Sab. We had one of the largest conglomerate, companies visiting over. So you've always been very, very kind, and we've been very thankful to you. You've been a great host for most of our clients as well. Um,
Imran is
uh,
asking, he requested, he just is asking, he's requested a visit to our Lahore factory. I
mhm.
think Imran, just get in touch with us. We'll definitely get you visited to Lahore, even in Karachi. We can always welcome you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. That speaks of our relationship, our partnering gesture. Thank you for hosting and inviting our potential clients and customers. Yes, TK.
No, no, I was turning down the request from our sales to show our customers a visit to Topal. I said we don't want to bother them every now and then, but no, look at it's a very generous offer, sir.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
really blown away by this offer, but we are cognizant of the fact that you guys are busy and we don't want to really bother you with that. But if this comes along, we would request you for such a visit.
Sure,
Fantastic.
anytime,
Uh,
anytime.
so this is Naveed Zafar asking, please guide us on how you see Pakistan's market and its adaptability towards automation as well as growth perspective with respect to machine automation optimization. Sorry. So if I've understood correctly, so I believe Naveed is trying to understand that how effectively is the market responding? Because of course we have a lot of legacy equipment in the operations, right? In most of our customer organizations. So how's the Pakistan market adaptability towards automation as well as growth perspective with respect to machine optimization? So DK, can you sort of
I
share
think
some of your experience?
you see the it all depends on a different digital maturity of every organization. Um, but people are responsive, actually. At least I can say that. And so it is catching up because it's the wave that everybody wants to ride on.
Right.
And people are feeling the heat because the old ways are kind of are not helping. Data is very important, intelligence is very important, and on the basis of the data and intelligence and analytics, you're able to make informed decisions and strategic decisions on the strength of the data that you have. And it is very important that you have to have a quality data, and the quality data means that how you gather data, how you clean it, and how you keep it is fundamental to that, and how real time it is. If it is a stale data, if it is an old data, it is a missing data, it has gaps, you would always be skeptical of kind of investing on the basis of that data. So I think data becomes a new, I would say, a commodity where it has, if you do not take care of it, is out there to disrupt you very significantly. So I think people you've understood, like I've given you many stories.
Yeah.
I can give you a name of a company, the Blockbuster, a huge $8.3 billion company. Netflix offered $50 million to buy the company out. They refused. Look, where is Netflix today and where is Blockbuster? They were in the same business. And so I think if you do not catch the the signals that are coming your way, and you cling to your old ways of doing things. I'm not saying that you rip and replace everything, but data is an important commodity now. It's as they call it, a new oil. It has to be treated accordingly and must be valued, and then use that data to make informed decisions, create new insights. That's what I can say.
Thank you. Fantastic. Another very pertinent question, TK. This one, perhaps for you, Shabisa. We have Stefan again asking, is there any plan to expand with other functionalities with Octopus Digital beyond OEE? If so, what would you like to expand it with? And what is the next steps of digitizing the production? I think you
Okay.
touched upon that. Yeah, I think you touched upon that.
Okay. The first thing that we are doing is, of course, we're building a data lake. The single version of data truth, right? So we are collecting data from different sources, bringing it, harmonizing it. When I say harmonizing the data, means that putting the data from different sources into one data structure, right? Then contextualizing it and prepping it to make it ready for any use case of machine learning, right? So once you've done that job, then there are a lot of other things that you can do that. So we are building digital twins for different assets. For pumps, we have APX, which is a digital twin. For compressors, for heat exchangers, the next is for complete boilers and all of that. And we can also do a digital twin for a process, but I think that's a long shot. So these are the products that we are building on top of it. Generative AI products are also coming along. OmniChat is an example in itself. We've deployed OmniChat in Ashghal, which is a very big entity, on a trial basis. They paid us to do that on one of the sections. There are many departments where we would be deploying in October. So I think we are expanding that portfolio as we go along. And yes, we are expanding our functionality.
Great. Fantastic.
So,
Yes, Shabisa.
Anil, I just want to add one thing.
Yes, please.
I agree on the point Karama just mentioned. And as far as our company is concerned, we are planning to have this. I already told you about the energy part and then sustainability. But my wish is to go as soon as I can go to a predictive maintenance
Right.
part, the OE. So maybe it would take a 3-4 years data. Then we'll be able to do this predictive maintenance part easily. So that's our
Absolutely.
next
Absolutely.
plan is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's where, Tanvir, as you were mentioning, that's where OmniConnect really plays that vital role, because it is that particular capability that we enable to our clients, which is where we can connect the multidimensional data, which leads you towards establishing a system like a predictive maintenance capability. So, jumping to another question,
But
we
all
yes,
products we're launching are within the OmniConnect platform.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. Salam Siddiqui, again, I can't see your organization name, but for younger companies who look up to you, what are the most difficult myths you had to? Shabir Saab, this one is for you, by the way. So, for younger companies who look up to you, what are the most difficult myths you had to overcome? Myths you had to overcome to buy in for the digital transformation initiative. Yeah, so the myths. I mean, I'm sure you must be hearing a lot of propositions from different service providers, etc. So, so yeah,
I think, in my opinion, there's a two mindset. There's an old mindset and a new mindset. So
okay,
there's a war between two mindsets where the myth is been created. Old mindset, people like me always claim that we have got the experience, we have got the knowledge, we have learned a lot through the different times, and the new generation, we seems like they know lesser than us, but this is not the case.
right,
That's why I tried to say that I'm trying to meet Gen Z a lot because they are the next big thing, I would say. So the
right, right,
mindset should be flexible enough to work together, and that's the
right,
way the magic happens.
right.
And the change management is only can be done like that. You cannot minus the experience lot, and you cannot just rely on Gen Z. It has to be a combination of both. So I think
Fantastic,
that is my answer to all these things, and definitely it can create a lot of things. But you have to be very flexible on top. You cannot be rigid. As even departmental head, section head, you cannot be rigid on your mindset. And the technology, the coming technology, if I'm a quite old. Maybe I look a little younger, but still I'm using Snapchat and Insta, and I'm everywhere very active because I know the next thing you have to be socially in touch with everything. So you get to know a lot of things, what's going on. Like Tanveer Karamat is also in the digital technology, and he knows a lot compared to us. So everybody has to. That's the way things moves on in your industry side, even in your personal side.
fantastic.
Very, very
TK, your
nice,
thoughts?
very nicely put. Actually, I mean, you've explained it. Uh, it's a war of two mindsets, right? And if you're a rigid mindset uh, with oh, this is not for us, this is not for me, this is all kind of imaginary and all that. The time to respond is now shrinking. If you keep thinking, then something else will come along, and you will be older uh, and older and older and far further and further away from what's current and what's relevant, right? So you obsolete yourself if you do not transform yourself, right? So therefore you need to. Now the issue today with Gen Zs is because they do not know honestly is what is that they learn that they can hang on to. No, there's nothing that you can hang on to. Something else will come and disrupt you. So this is a technological time frame where you have to, your time to react is shrinking. And if you decide that I have to do this and I have to go somewhere, you've got to decide now rather than you say, I'll wait, I'll do in a very conventional old style that you do feasibilities, you do this, you do that, and then it takes months and years to decide something else will come along.
I think absolutely, TK, you've really pointed out to something very, very useful. And Shabir Sab, you would agree, mentioning earlier on, um, something that really enabled you to take fast decisions back then, really actually disrupting the normal regular approach of how you want to really bring on this technology, start the journey. If it would have been still the same tender or RFP mechanism, I'm sure that really doesn't allow you to select a partner which you truly believe is going to be a good partner. It always helps you assess, but really it very much does sabotage the decision-making process. Of course, there are different characters involved in this equation. But yes, once that's an important aspect. TK, yes.
I think we're running out of time, I guess.
There's
Or
one very important question, actually, just the last one, and then we'll wrap it up, PK.
yeah,
There is this question from Mr. Bashar Haddad. I think he's from the Middle East region somewhere. Thank you for the interesting info and the information shared by the speakers. May I ask to what extent companies can feel this? This one is an important one because we haven't spoken on this aspect. So it's great that we see the question. To what extent companies can feel worried about their confidential data? Sabri
okay,
Saab?
okay.
Uh,
Okay.
to
Very-
what extent companies can feel worried about their confidential data? And then he says, in respect of recipes, material costing, costing strategy, any other confidential data. So, Shabir Saab, are you worried that your data is no more confidential?
But
So, TK, yes.
yeah, I mean, let Shabisa
Yeah.
address that
Yeah.
first, and then I'll
I think
chime
I think I think there's nothing to do with the confidential data over here. Monitoring OEE. No, what I'm monitoring in my case, I'm monitoring my output, like my availability of the machine time, that like my performance of the machines, and the quality of the package.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think there's much of a yeah, but the question pertaining to the recipe and everything. I don't think this is related to OEE anything.
Yeah.
That's my understanding is. I don't know, Tanir would
Uh,
give
uh,
a.
I think you're right. I think you have to see what is confidentiality that you say
Yes.
confidential data. You have to qualify that, right? If you're saying that I made this much of packets or a product, is this a confidential information? I don't know. I mean, you have to qualify that what you say. Your metadata, probably your for a bank, it could be confidential to have everything on the cloud. But we are in the business where I think it's not that confidential because we are helping you to improve your operations so that you can make more money or probably be more profitable, being more agile, being more efficient, being more insightful, so that you can take decisions. So you have to qualify that. There could be certain, for example, our product, generative AI product, OmniChat, is can be deployed on certain confidential data. The the way we do it is that we don't pass on that data to the LLM models. We generate a code from LLM model by teaching the LLM model what do we mean, what is the schema of that database, and then we generate a code and deploy on your database, which is with you and not with anybody else, to give you the insights that you want, right? So this is a differentiation that we have created on the confidential data.
Fantastic.
So it never leaves your premises, it stays with you, right? So this is where I think the confidential data is being treated, especially for the ad hoc, querying on your data and all that stuff. So different products have a different application. For confidential data, we have that.
Fantastic. So that's our approach towards encrypting what really matters to you.
Yes,
And at
yes.
the same time,
But the LLM doesn't know what is it.
yeah, absolutely. And of course, the entire concept of developing Omni Connect on the Asia platform itself was exactly that even our teams or us as an organization do not have that leverage to really manipulate or actually sort of let loose on the data security part. So that is as strong as you today feel comfortable about your emails, which is where you exchange so much of confidential information related to your own organization, etc. So that communication confidentiality really is something that gives you the confidence. Yeah.
If you're using 365, you're already confidentiality is compromised. If that is, but I think a real confidential data, recipes, and all that needs to be protected for sure. And there are, you're not sharing that out there to do your OE.
Get the NDA signed from Adil.
Yes, Adil. That's what we do actually.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We
have a very, very, sorted process for that aspect of data security and confidentiality. Absolutely.
Yes, and governance.
And I mean, every time, Sabir Sab, you would agree that even if we have to use a Tapal as a reference somewhere, we always seek your confirmation and approval. Of course, there's a process. There's a process that we follow. We ourselves are a public limited company after all. We have our obligations to adhere to. We are owned by the public, as I mentioned. So yeah, there is a lot of governance aspects as well as the policy that we strictly abide by and follow.
Okay.
So there are questions flowing in. I've been also given a heads up from my marketing team as well that it's time to really wrap it up. But yes, I would like to extend like a huge thanks to Tanveer Karamat, yourself, Kabir Saab, and Mr. Roberto, who is not on the call anymore because of his health. But again, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I personally enjoyed it as actually beyond my expectations, and I'm sure that you had a great time on this webinar as well. We try to keep it very casual. We try to keep it like really extempore and very, very transparent towards our audience. Nothing much was scripted as such, but I believe, except for a few things, of course, but the rest was all straight talk, as we say, heart to heart. And that was the entire purpose.
And
Thank you.
big thank you to our speakers, and a big thank you to the audience. Actually, who made this webinar worthy of their time. Thank you once again.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
We had a
Adil.
great,
Thank you, Tanveer Karamat. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, sir.
Coming to Pakistan, so meeting up, or if I'll be there, we'll definitely catch up. Thank you, Adil, for having me. And
fantastic, sir. Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
And just before we leave, I would like to recap that we had more than 100 attendees on the Zoom. Just the count that I'm getting, we've got 50 plus attendees on the LinkedIn Live. We had perhaps 45 attendees on the YouTube as well. So great job done, marketing team. I think they've really spread the message like a wildfire. In terms of attendance, we had 30% attendees from the UAE region. We had 15% or so. I'm just seeing a graph, so I'm just trying to make estimates. So from the Saudi, we had a large list of attendees coming from Pakistan as well, which is very exciting. There's a different analysis going on from that perspective. But yes, just as a closing remark, so this is not the end, of course. As I mentioned, this was the first episode. We'll be announcing the details of the second episode of the webinar soon. And we'll explore the transformation field, data capturing tools, etc. A lot of kind of tools and specs you will get to see later on in future as well. But thank you once again from the audience perspective. Of course, the esteemed speakers yourselves for sharing all of your insights. And thank you once again, everyone. And we look forward to seeing you for the very next time. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Take care. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.